Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor. Hi everyone, welcome back to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. This is going to be the first of my mini summer episodes. I did something similar last year. I don't remember the exact timing of when I did it, but I decided now is the time because the summer is in full swing and I am just being really busy and doing all the things that I want to do this summer. I am a summer person. I could live in flip-flops, but I can't because I live in New Jersey. But I am just really enjoying being outside, doing all the extra things, gardening, riding my horses more, and all that kind of stuff. So I am taking a semi-break in the summer where I will just be doing quick episodes, probably around 5 minutes each week instead of my full-length episodes, which really aren't all that much longer. They're usually around 15 minutes. But I do actually put a decent amount of time into figuring out everything I want to talk about in those episodes. And, I just making a blog post, and I do spend a bit of time. So I'm going to take a little break and just do quick episodes, just basically talking about what's on my mind at the time and not doing a blog post for it and just kind of doing something kind of quick. So for today, what has really been on my mind is just, being mindful of the fact that when seasons change, your daily activities often change, and you can't always fit in all of the things that maybe you used to fit in before. Like, for example, with this podcast, I used to do a lot of work for the podcast in the morning before I would start work, because I get up really early, I exercise, then I shower, I load our dishes, feed our pets, all that kind of stuff. And then I would have usually about a half hour at least, or a little bit more, where I could sit down and get some work done for the podcast. But now that it's summer, I have a ton of plants that I'm growing outside, both like flowering plants and some tomatoes that I'm growing and some seedlings that I'm trying to grow and all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoy going outside and watering the plants. I totally could set up automatic watering systems. We've had them in the past, but I am just really enjoying going outside every morning and just spending that time outside before I start working, watering the plants. I let the dogs out at the same time, and I'm out there and I go around and I water everything and watching things grow, and I'm just really enjoying that time. But because I'm doing that, something I wouldn't be doing in the rest of the year, it's made a difference in my schedule, and I don't have that extra time to work on the podcast in the morning or update our, I call it update the checking, but what I mean is like update for all of our credit cards, pay bills, things like that. I like to do a little bit of that every morning too. So I've kind of taken up that time with watering the plants. So I have to acknowledge that I'm not getting that stuff done in the morning, and I need to either scale back on it or do it at another time. So you can't realistically think when things change and seasons change that you can do everything you were doing before plus all these other things that might be related to the season. So it's thinking about, okay, does something have to go? Can I do this at a different time? Do I have any other free time? If I don't have any other free time, is this really important? If it is, like for example, the piece of that morning routine where I was updating our budget and our bills and credit card activity and all that stuff, that is really important. I can't just say like, oh, well, it's summer, I'm not doing that anymore. So now I'm making it a point to do that in the evening when I sit down to relax for a little bit at the end of the night. I'll make sure to go on my laptop and update whatever activity needs to be done for those accounts because it's important to keep up on. But if I didn't have enough time, then I'd have to say, okay, well, what else isn't super priority, as important as this task is, that I can maybe let go for this season so that I can make sure my priorities are taken care of and maybe something else has to go. For example, I have not been doing much deep cleaning in my house lately because I am just scraping by with the time. And it's not that I'm like overwhelmed or overloaded with a ridiculous amount of work. It's just there's a lot of things I want to do. I want to go in the pool. I want to go to the barn and be with the horses. I want to water the plants in the morning. I want to go visit family. Like there's just a lot that's going on. And I'm just sticking to the basics of the cleaning. I'm getting the bathrooms done. I'm doing the dishes every day, wiping down the counters, throwing out food when it needs to be thrown out. If something didn't get eaten in the fridge, keeping those basics clean. But I'm not going through my zone cleaning list and getting all that stuff done because there'll be plenty of time when the weather is crappy and I can catch back up on that stuff. So I'm modifying. I'm not trying to make myself do every single thing that I've always done because when seasons change, priorities change, and you can't just keep doing all of it plus more. So that's what I wanted to share today. And I just wanted to encourage you, if you feel like you've taken on more things to do with the change of the season, whether those are just fun things or other tasks that you have to do, maybe if you have kids in camp and now you have to drive them or whatever the case may be, think about maybe what else needs to go so that you can keep yourself sane during this season and enjoy the things that you want to enjoy and not be overwhelmed with trying to keep up with everything. So that's it for this quick episode today. I hope you enjoyed this. I will be back here next week with another mini summer episode, so I will talk to you then. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.